Welcome to the Deep Dive. Thanks for sending over these excerpts from Ali Siddiq's stand-up, My Two Unsons. Really fascinating stuff. We're going to dig into this source material you provided today.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great material. It's funny, obviously, but underneath, there's just so much about, family, different generations, his specific way of parenting, and these like really starkly different ways his kids see the world.
Right. And our mission here really is to unpack all these stories he tells, pull out the insights, maybe the surprising bits you might miss just laughing along. We'll look at the specific things he talks about, these different worlds his sons seem to live in. And kind of see what we can learn or, just get a kick out of from how he deals with them.
Exactly. It's like using his own words, his narrative as a map to understand some bigger family truths. But yeah, through his very unique, very funny filter.
Okay, so let's dive in. Ali, the comedian, he's 50, and he starts with his older son, Trey, who's, around 29, and he kicks up with something so basic, asking him to take the trash out.
Yeah, you'd think, okay, maybe a sigh, maybe later, but no. According to Ali, just asking him to take the trash out on his way out the door, boom, instant confrontation. Trey hits him with, you don't want these problems, and why you always up on me?
Wow. That jump from 0 to 60 just over trash, it's something else.
Yeah.
And Ali mentions, he's trying this different parenting thing now, living in this gated community with the lighter hue, as he puts it.
Right.
Trying to let the kids speak freely, be jovial. But you can feel that old dynamic, maybe from how he was raised, just pulling him back. He even jokes about diagnosing his son with temporary amnesia for reacting like that. Like, did you forget who I am?
It really shows that tension, doesn't it? You try to adapt, maybe based on where you live now or new ideas about parenting, but those old patterns, they're sticky. And Trey immediately goes physical, threatens it. You know I got these hands.
And apparently he kind of does. He's an amateur boxer, although Ali definitely throws some shade on that. Says Trey's got 10 undefeated fights, but Ali's watched them and is like, how? He remembers thinking Trey was absolutely getting his ass whooped in some of those wins.
Which leads to this, incredibly dramatic challenge. The son challenges the father to a fight at the gym. Ali calls it, Simba has challenged Mufasa.
This part gets me. So Trey's at the gym, right? Fully kitted out, boxing gear, warming up, focused. And Ali strolls in wearing exactly what he had on at home. Button-down shirt, slacks, hard-bottom shoes.
Yeah, that tells you everything, doesn't it? Trey's there for a showdown, maybe to prove himself. Ollie's there like, okay, let's get this lesson over with. I got things to do. He even says he knew Trey was a southpaw, knew that overhand right was waiting for him.
And the way he describes the fight, it's so casual, almost dismissive. Trey rushes in, throws a jab. Ollie just rolled on it, apparently looking over at the coach while doing it. Then a check hook comes. Ollie says he just bent his knees.
It sounds less like a fight and more like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like Ollie's just swatting flies, barely breaking stride, and then bang, the overhand right lands it. Trey gets a black eye. Ollie says he could have done worse, but, good father and all that.
And the instruction right after knocking him down. Pick your mouthpiece up. Take that trash out when you get home. Just circles right back to the beginning. Classic.
But it doesn't stop there, does it? Because what Trey does next is pure family drama gold.
Oh, yeah. Immediately FaceTimes Grandma, Ollie's mom. Shows her the eye.
And just gives the headline, Daddy hit me in the face, no context.
And Grandma reacts exactly how Ollie knew she would, yelling at him, keep your hands off my grandbaby.
Which naturally makes Ollie think about his childhood.
Right. He brings up his mom's discipline. 2 stories, both about not washing dishes, getting kicked in the back when he was 9, and then getting a wet rag-ass whooping while he was asleep at 16 because he didn't do the dishes he was told to do. And then he jokes that his mom must have temporary amnesia too because she denies ever hitting him like that.
That whole sequence, the fight, the call, the memory clash, it's such a brilliant illustration of how subjective family history is, right? How different generations remember or choose to remember things. Ollie sees his actions as, well, maybe a dialed-down version of what he got. His mom sees protecting her grandkid. It's messy and funny and kind of real.
It really is. Okay, let's switch focus a little to Trey trying to make it on his own. Ali talks about him struggling, right? Like being broke, even though he's got a CDL license, losing jobs constantly.
Yeah, and the frustrating part for Ollie seems to be that Trey apparently never knows why he got fired. It's always someone else's fault. They was against me.
Which Ali contrasts with his own job losses back in the day. Kroger, for supposedly drinking on the job. McDonald's for adding his own seasoning to the burgers.
Right. Ollie's point is he knew exactly why he got canned. He even jokes McDonald's eventually brought out a seasoned burger, so maybe he was just ahead of his time.
So Trey's finding it tough out there. And Ali mentions Trey left home twice, voluntarily. Not kicked out, but Trey felt the rules were too much. Called them tyrant rules.
And Ollie's reaction when he leaves, it's something else. Changes the passcode on the house, gets an attack dog trained specifically not to bite family based on smell.
Hilarious. And he jokes about calling the cops on Trey for being a squatter when he saw him just sitting in his car outside.
He also talks about Trey coming back after that first time, even trying to break into the house. And Ollie notices during this period, Trey's listening to all this rap music about, like, Percocets and Dracos and shootouts.
Stuff Ollie clearly thinks Trey hasn't actually lived.
Exactly. Which leads Ollie into this whole other thing about his experiences. He says he's been in 4 shootouts, 2 he was just like there for, and 2 he apparently started.
Okay.
And he describes them as totally different from the rap songs, lots of running, screaming, ducking, not so glamorous. He even has a quick story about one he was just there for in Houston involving a club, a pool hall, some guy named Pookie, grounding it in a kind of messy reality.
It's an interesting detour. So Trey leaves again, this time saying he needs to get his from out the mud. Make it on his own, the hard way.
And Ollie's response is kind of powerful in its own way. He basically says, look, I already went and got out the mud for you, for your kids, for their kids. There's generational wealth here.
But Trey doesn't want the handout. He wants to earn his dad's respect by doing it himself, which Ollie then contrasts with his daughter, Jaden.
Oh, yeah. Jaden's apparently like, respect, nah, just take care of me. I want to be a kept woman.
That's quite the contrast between the siblings' attitudes right there.
Totally. One seeking validation through struggle, the other seemingly embracing the comfort provided. Anyway, Trey's second attempt at independence ends with him living in his car right outside the house, stealing the Wi-Fi, taking baths with a garden hose.
Oh, man. Ollie says seeing him like that, he looked broken. And that's when Ollie decides, okay, no matter what, the door's always open. He mentions the statistic about youth homelessness, 2.7 million kids, and says, nope, my son's not going to be one of them.
It shows that core protective instinct, right? Beneath all the tough talk and the jokes. But then he also admits to being diabolical.
Yes. His revenge, letting the younger siblings just absolutely roast Trey when he came back inside.
And their lines are priceless. The younger son, Hassan, just asking, Trey, you back?
7-year-old Helena, where your mud at?
9-year-old Hanan wanting money because she won a bet that he'd be back.
And Jaden, the oldest, just walks out quoting 3-6 Mafia, it's hard out here for a pimp.
Brutal.
It's using the family itself as this comedic Greek chorus, kind of reinforcing Ali's whole narrative about Trey's journey.
Okay, so let's pivot completely. Let's talk about the younger son, Hassan. He's 13. And the contrast with Trey, it's like night and day. Ali calls him way better, beautiful, which his name apparently means beautiful spirit, but also bougie.
Yeah, that's the key difference, right? Trey grew up partly in Ali's old neighborhood. Hassan was raised purely in the gated community, and it shows Hassan's communication style is incredibly formal. He calls Ali father, or our father. Touches the arm, waits to be acknowledged. Our father, I was pondering.
It's just worlds away from Trey's what's up, pops. Hassan gets this fascination with the hood, but it seems like this exotic, almost mythical place to him based on his dad's stories.
And his sheltered life comes out hilariously at this family fish fry. They offer him catfish.
And Hassan says Hassan don't eat catfish. Asks if they have flounder or sea bass.
Flounder or sea bass at a family fish fry. When told it's catfish or salad, he takes the salad.
Ali calls this being shooed, like disrespected. He flies back just to confront Hassan about shooing his hand. Hassan's defense, I was not shooing, there were gacks, and he never wants to see those people again.
It raises that question Ali touches on. Is it disrespect or just complete lack of context? Total ignorance born from privilege. So Ali decides, okay, field trip time. Got to show Hassan the old neighborhood.
And Hassan's initially excited, right? Full of glee in the car. Singing Earth, Wind, and Fire, apparently badly off-key.
But the second they actually get to the neighborhood, the glee vanishes. Gleelessness, Ali calls it. Hassan just looks around like, Father, where are we?
Ali tries showing him landmarks from his youth. The shopping center, his old high school.
Which Hassan notes has bars on the windows now. Did it always have bars?
Ali mentions playing basketball outside in the heat. Hassan's reaction, pure judgment. You played basketball outside. Ali admits he's getting pretty frustrated.
Yeah, you can feel that disconnect. What's nostalgic and meaningful for Ali is just alien or even slightly appalling to Hassan. Then they're at his cousin's house. Hassan drinks some super sugary ghetto Kool-Aid, gets all jittery.
And then he starts observing the living situation, asking his cousins, so let me get this straight, all three of y'all stay in this room, pointing out the one dresser, the two beds.
Ali shuts that down quick. Everybody in the hood got a pissy cousin, shut up.
It just highlights again how Hassan has no filter for this environment. Then Ali gets this idea. He remembers staying at his cousin's house as a kid, how cool it was experiencing different rules, being outside at night for the first time. He wants Hassan to have some kind of eye-opening experience.
So, totally on the spur of the moment, he tells his cousin Hassan's staying the night.
And the cousin's like, whoa, hold on. Hassan's so bougie, refers to himself in the third person. No, Hassan cannot stay here tonight. Hassan himself looks furious, pissed, just pointing around like, look at it, when asked why he can't stay.
Ali describes feeling conflicted driving away, that shaking decision, but the cousin reassures him, talks about family, blood, having his hammer out, whatever that meant.
So Ali drives off feeling that empty nester loneliness kicking in.
Drives for like 45 minutes, then thinks, nah, gotta go back for him.
But as he pulls into his own driveway, who pops up from the back seat?
Hassan, been hiding there the whole time.
Yeah.
Just says, no need, I am already here.
And Ali's final thought on that, Hassan was way more hood than I thought. It's this fantastic twist, right? It completely flips the script on the bougie kid. Shows maybe there's more grit or cunning or something under the surface than even Ali realized.
So, okay, pulling it all together. These stories, yeah, they're hilarious, but they paint such a vivid picture of the different roads these two sons are on. Trey's wrestling with independence, self-sufficiency, leaving the nest. Hassan, from his bubble, is wrestling with perspective, understanding worlds outside his own.
And it really seems like their upbringings, hood versus gated community, are the main drivers of those differences, how they see things, how they relate to their dad. Trey's relationship seems built on conflict, needing to prove something. Hassan's is formal, polite, but with this huge experiential gap.
And Ali's parenting, it's a real mix, isn't it? You've got echoes of the tough discipline he got, attempts at being more modern and gentle, this bedrock of support the money, the open door, and yeah, that self-proclaimed diabolical streak of teasing and revenge.
It definitely makes you think about how much our environment shapes us and how memory works in families, like the different stories about discipline between Ali and his mom, or how the sons see things so differently, where you come from, what you remember. It colors everything.
Exactly. These really specific personal stories tap into these huge themes, don't they? Generational gaps, the push-pull between wanting kids to be tough but also wanting to cushion them, and just how much the place you grow up in defines your reality.
And how our parents' experiences, the ones they tell us and maybe the ones they misremember or forget, how that stuff cycles back and shapes how we parent, consciously or not.
Well, thank you for taking this deep dive with us into My Two Sons Are.
Yeah, it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? How much of who we are is where we started, how much is the choices we make, and how much is just the luck of the draw, family-wise, neighborhood-wise.
And how do our own parent stories, the told ones and the untold ones, echo in how we raise our own kids? Definitely something to chew on.